Most people assume that silence means the end. No messages, no calls, no reaction. So the mind jumps to conclusions. She must have moved on, she must have forgotten. But human psychology does not work that way. Silence is not always absence. Sometimes it is processing. Sometimes it is tension. And sometimes it is doing more work than words ever could. When communication stops suddenly, the brain does not erase the connection. It fixates on it. Unfinished emotional experiences stay active in the mind longer than resolved ones. Think about a conversation that ended abruptly or a song that stopped before the final note. Your mind keeps returning to it, trying to complete what was left open. Emotional silence works the same way. When contact pauses without closure, it creates an open loop that the mind keeps revisiting. Well, many people panic in this space. They try to close the loop quickly, they send a message, react online, or search for reassurance. But when that happens, the tension dissolves, and the mind no longer needs to work. Silence loses its psychological weight the moment it is filled. By rushing in, you unintentionally remove the space where reflection and emotional sorting happen. When silence remains, the mind turns inward. With no new input, memory takes over. And here, an interesting psychological bias appears. Over time, emotionally charged negative moments soften, while positive moments gain clarity. The argument fades, but the laughter returns. The frustration blurs, but the feeling of comfort becomes vivid. Silence gives memory room to reorganize itself. This is why silence often feels heavier to the person who initiated distance than to the one experiencing it. While nothing is being said, a quiet internal debate unfolds. Questions surface. Did I act too quickly? Was that connection rare? Why does this feel unfinished? Silence does not mean you are being forgotten. It often means you are being mentally revisited. Instead of direct communication, attention may shift into observation. A person may stop reaching out yet continue watching from a distance. This behavior is not accidental. It is a low-risk way of staying connected while avoiding vulnerability. Watching feels safer than speaking. It allows emotional access without exposure. Patterns matter here. Sudden changes in online activity, music choices, or visibility often reflect inner processing. Humans are creatures of habit. When behavior shifts noticeably, something is being worked through internally. The content itself matters less than the change from the norm. Another quiet process happens during comparison. When someone re-enters social or romantic spaces, they do not start from zero. Previous connections become reference points. New interactions are measured against emotional memory. Comfort, understanding, and familiarity set standards that novelty alone cannot sustain. Over time, shallow excitement fades and deeper emotional benchmarks resurface. Silence allows this comparison to happen without interference. When you remain absent, memory is not disrupted. You are not competing with the present. You exist as a psychological reference point. Presence can dilute that effect. Absence sharpens it. Yet even when missing grows, pride often blocks action. Our reaching out requires vulnerability. It means admitting uncertainty and risking rejection. For many people, especially those who stepped back first, this feels threatening. Silence becomes a way to protect identity while emotions quietly pull in the opposite direction. This creates internal conflict. The mind tries to justify distance while emotions resist it. Over time, that tension becomes exhausting. Suppressed thoughts push back harder. The more someone tells themselves not to think about a person, the more frequently that person appears in memory. Suppression strengthens focus rather than erasing it. This is why thoughts often surface late at night or in unguarded moments. Mental defenses are lower. Emotional material slips through. Dreams, sensory reminders, familiar places, or certain scents can trigger strong reactions. When these moments bypass logic and go straight to emotional memory, But silence is not magic. It does not work without internal stability. Withdrawal often functions as an unconscious test of emotional grounding. When one person becomes uncertain or overwhelmed, they instinctively look for steadiness, not reassurance, but regulation. If silence triggers panic, impulsive behavior, or emotional collapse, it signals instability. If silence is met with calm continuity, it signals strength. Emotional regulation communicates safety more clearly than words. This does not mean suppressing emotion. It means not acting from fear. Life continues. Routine holds. Purpose remains intact. Emotional balance is preserved without theatrics or withdrawal. When someone realizes their absence has not disrupted your center, perception shifts. Respect grows. Stability becomes visible. And stability is deeply attractive because it feels reliable in an unpredictable world. Silence is not a punishment. It is a mirror. It reveals emotional habits, attachment patterns, and self-worth. When you stop trying to control outcomes and focus on internal order, clarity replaces anxiety. You are not waiting, you are choosing balance. Silence becomes a space for reflection, growth, and self-respect. And in that space, you begin to understand something important. Your value is not measured by responses. It is defined by how grounded you remain when none arrive.